So breaking news here today. I just looked on J-Ski, and we've got ourselves a little bit of an update based off of the whole Roush Fenway Racing situation, which is kind of ironic because we just touched on this whole situation this morning. And while it makes a little bit of sense, it also kind of leaves me with a little bit of a question mark. But you know what? We'll see how it works out for the season. So apparently, the 2017 plans have just been announced by Roush Fenway Racing, and as I was speculating this morning, was there going to be a possible transition of Darrell Wallace Jr. up to the 16 car for the Cup Series, since we already knew that Ryan Reed has already got his plans all set up for the 16 Xfinity. There really was no word yet on what was going to be going on with Darrell Wallace Jr., but they were expecting the same thing to be going on, but again, expecting doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. And now, all of a sudden, most of the answers are being given as far as that whole situation. So this is courtesy of jski.com, and it says Roush Fenway Racing announces 2017 NASCAR Cup plans. Roush Fenway Racing announced its 2017 plans will see the organization of a two-car Cup operation next season. Trevor Bayne in the 6, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 17. Obviously, the 16 will not be coming back. My assumption is we'll probably see the 16 in a couple of races during the course of the season, kind of doing the Ryan Reed 2016 thing where it'll give him, maybe Darrell Wallace Jr., an opportunity, a taste in the Cup Series to be able to prepare them for whether they come up in 2018, 2019, whatever. I think this is a good choice, really, because like I said this morning, I think that if they moved Ryan Reed or Darrell Wallace Jr. up to the Cup Series for 2017, it would be a hurried transition. And one thing that I've said a lot of times is it seems like these big teams are trying to hurry up drivers through the developmental series, Truck Series or Xfinity Series, whichever one, and trying to get them up to the Cup Series as soon as possible. And then when they flop, everybody's like, wait a minute, what just happened? This guy was a sensation down there in the developmental series. Well, you rushed him too much. You didn't give him a little bit more time to mature down there in Trucks or Xfinity, whichever the case. One thing that I'm going to be looking at as far as using an example is William Byron. Absolutely incredible in the Truck Series. He's moving up to Xfinity. Now, if he does well there, then okay, I could see him transitioning to the Cup Series. But if, with the domination he had in Trucks, if he moves up to Xfinity, starts struggling a little bit, do not move him up to the Cup Series until 2019. You can wait. You can wait to move him up to the top tier series. In this case, I think it would be the same deal. Keep Ryan Reed, keep Darrell Wallace Jr. down in the Xfinity Series one more season, see where they're at the end of 2017. If they did well, then you can move them up to the Cup level. You can bring back, whether it's going to be the 99, whether it's going to be the 16, whatever the case, you can bring them in. As far as I know, Trevor Bayne is signed through Roush Fenway Racing till 2018. So there's at least one other driver. I think Stenhouse is signed through there as well. I can actually look real quickly while I'm going through this. But as far as it looks like we could end up having a Roush Fenway three-car team again in 2018. I think they're smart just going with 2017, a two-car team. Their finishes weren't so bad at the end of the season either. As a matter of fact, I looked back, courtesy of Benjamin Miles. He posted a article on the NSRA Enter 2003 and Gaming page talking about the top 10 drivers who actually completed the most laps in 2016. And there were actually a number of names I would not have expected. Landon Castle was one of them. Clint Boyer was another. So, you know, names of drivers who actually finished races. One of those names was Trevor Bayne. He was number 9 on the list. So, you know, you can't say Roush Fenway Racing had a horrible year. To be honest, in the way that things were going for them that season, it actually was a somewhat productive season with the young talent they've got, with Greg Biffle seemingly in his, and we can't say this officially, but potentially retirement year. I think it actually wasn't as bad as it could have been. Just to confirm, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is signed through 2017. Apparently, there's something in his contract where he can renew. More than likely, that would be the case. I don't really see him leaving Roush Fenway Racing anywhere in the near future unless something internal happens with Roush Fenway Racing and they end up folding up. So, this throws into play one of the charters going to a team that needs a charter. Remember back when I said that there were 3 key teams that were looking to buy and or lease a charter. Eric Jones in the 77, Chris Buescher in the second team for JTG Daughtery Racing, and see who was the third. It was Ryan Blaney, the 21 Wood Brothers car. Well, now we know where one of them is going to go, and one of them is going to at least get a charter, and it's going to be Chris Buescher, because of the fact that Chris Buescher is theoretically a Roush Fenway developmental driver. He was pretty much loaned over to Front Row Motorsports, and now he's going to get loaned over to JTG Daughtery Racing, along with the charter that Greg Biffle, the 16 team, had in 2016. Now, while this makes sense that they would support a Roush Fenway Racing developmental driver, the thing that I don't get, the thing that I don't understand, is why they are doing it for a Chevrolet team. It made sense that you put Chris Buescher in a Ford in 2016 with Front Row Motorsports because Roush Fenway Racing is a Ford team. JTG Daughtery Racing is a Chevrolet team, and from what I've heard, there's no rumors at all going on that JTG Daughtery Racing is going to be going to Fords. So, while it makes sense in one regard that you would bring the charter over to somebody that is theoretically a developmental driver for your team, you're supporting a Chevrolet team. Now, I'm probably reading way too much into this. It really doesn't matter with the difference of manufacturers at all, but it just seems a little bit odd. To me, it would have made more sense if Chris Buescher went over to Richard Petty Motorsports in the 44 ride of the recently retired Brian Scott, and the charter went over there. That would make more sense to me. However, the 44 is actually a chartered ride already. So, there's so many different scenarios you could have here, and it would just muddy up the waters. So, officially, it is going to be Chris Buescher in the second JTG Daughtery Racing car. Still no confirmation on what number it's going to be, and they will be a chartered ride now. So, one of the teams that really needed a charter is going to get one. So, that leaves the 21 of Ryan Blaney and the 77 of Eric Jones. Where are those charters going to come from? I'm not rightly sure. I have a feeling more than likely, at least Eric Jones is going to get a charter next season. I'm kind of up in the air on whether that 21 team is going to have a charter next season or not. There are a lot of different teams out there, a lot of charters floating around where they could go somewhere. From what I'm understanding, it's seeming like the charter that... well, actually, no, this actually throws out another possibility. Oh, no, actually, no, it doesn't. Nope. Okay, I was going to say maybe... We don't know really where the Tommy Baldwin number 7 charter is going, but I believe that charter is going over to Casey Mears. So we've got basically 2 charters floating around out there for Eric Jones and Ryan Blaney to try and get, and that would be the 62 team of Premium Motorsports, their charter, which they leased to Michael Annette's team in 2016, and then the number 15 charter of Clint Boyers, that's also floating around there. So as far as I know now, basically 2 charters are up for grabs, and Ryan Blaney's team, the 21, and Eric Jones' team, the 77, they're trying to get them. So will they land them is the question, but like I've said, I think if they don't get the charter, they're probably going to, but if they don't get the charter, I don't see them missing any races in the 2016 season. Their teams, I think, are going to be good enough. They're going to have enough equipment, enough good equipment to make sure that they make each and every race. I don't see it happening for either one of them missing any races during the 2017 season. So, that's basically the latest news flash that we've got here. Tomorrow we're going to be having some more talk that's going to be going on. We got some interesting stuff, especially involving Clint Boyer. So I hope you'll tune into that. And then, like I said, probably closer to the weekend, we're going to be having some people on here, some special guests, and maybe touch on some other top stories that come up and sprout up during the course of this week and onto the upcoming weeks as we look towards the 2017 start of the season. Still don't know what the Cup Series is going to be called, but we do know it will be the Daytona 500 that will start the season off. So we'll be, doing a lot of talking about that and other topics as they seemingly come up in the NASCAR world. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next episode of NASCAR Talk Hot Stove.